Heretic's deadly ending features plenty of twists and turns that underscore the thematic through-lines of the religious horror film. Heretic's ending is a dark but rewarding finale connected to the film's exploration of faith. Scott Beck and Brian Wood's new horror film is a cerebral story that focuses on two Mormon missionaries who find themselves trapped in the home of a seemingly kind, but secretly horrifying, Mr. Reed. The focus of the film remains on Heretic's main three characters, rarely leaving the building once Sister Barnes and Sister Paxton are unwittingly lured into Mr. Reed's trap. It's a dark movie that balances its heavy themes and grim turns with some moments of unexpected humor and charm, largely benefiting from one of Hugh Grant's most memorable performances. This leads to a powerful ending that underscores the central debate at the heart of the narrative, all while leaving enough ambiguity that the movie's treatise on faith extends to the audience's beliefs in the exact circumstances of the plot. Mr. Reed's plan in Heretic. Resurrection tricks, his true religion, and more explained. Mr. Reed's mysterious actions and plans in Heretic serve as the film's real tension, especially as he is revealed to be far more brutal than he initially appeared. In the first act of Heretic, Mr. Reed is portrayed with a sweet but curious side, quick to apologize for unintended offense but dedicated to conversation. As his talk with Sister Barnes and Sister Paxton grows more personal and judgmental, he becomes increasingly creepy. As the two missionaries and the audience eventually discover, Reed has spent decades researching religion in search of a true faith to follow. Ultimately, Reed's true religion is the idea of control. He attempts to convince the young women through his words, and when that attempt to control them fails, he shifts to a more theatrical resurrection of one of the other women he's captured. Killing her and replacing her with another woman, Reed attempts to spiritually break both young women by having her reveal there is only darkness after death. Mr. Reed's plan seems to be to crack Paxton and Barnes mentally, adding them to his captured collection of disciples or attempting to kill them if that fails. What the butterfly landing on Paxton means in Heretic's ending. The idea of butterflies in Heretic representing rebirth and freedom is established early on between Sister Barnes and Sister Paxton. Paxton explains to her friend that she hopes when she dies, she can return to Earth at least briefly in the form of a butterfly. That way, she could visit her loved ones and let them know, on some level, that she is okay and at peace. This sets up the idea that Paxton could die in the film, but she is actually the only main character to survive the film. After Barnes and Reed both die, a wounded Paxton is able to escape the house, where a butterfly lands on her hand. It is one of the many ambiguous moments in the movie's final act that is left up to the audience to interpret themselves. Some might believe that the implication behind this moment is that the butterfly is a representation of Barnes. Despite having been seemingly murdered by Mr. Reed earlier in the film, Barnes' return gave her a chance to save her friend. The butterfly implies to Paxton and the audience that the afterlife exists, justifying their faith. However, other interpretations suggest that the butterfly is not real and that Paxton was indeed killed by Reed in the cellar of the house. The butterfly is a hallucination she is experiencing as she dies, which could also be a sign to her that the afterlife is real and she has reached it. While the movie is clearly willing to allow the audience to determine the ending for themselves, the final image does give Paxton a bit of peace and solace in the end while rewarding her faith. Did Barnes come back to life in Heretic's ending? One of the harshest plot twists in Heretic comes when Mr. Reed confronts Barnes and Paxton after his attempt to trick them with a resurrection. Barnes loudly calls him out and accuses the entire thing of being a poorly constructed trick that she can see right through. Before she can get close enough to attack him, Reed slashes her throat with a box cutter, seemingly killing her almost immediately. Barnes remains removed from the rest of Heretic's climax until the final moments, when she suddenly pops back up and kills Reed to save Paxton. An interesting ambiguity is at play in this scene. as it's unclear what the exact nature of this moment is. It's possible that Barnes was faking her death, waiting until she could use the last of her strength at a crucial moment. This would be a clever reversal of Reed using his captured women to mislead them about a miracle by faking a resurrection. However, it's also possible that Barnes was indeed resurrected, at least long enough to stop Reed. The spiritual qualities of Heretic and the self-awareness.